Hello. All right. We having a real chat. It's Kiara from 𝐇𝐢𝐠𝐡-𝐕𝐚𝐥𝐮𝐞. Good morning, y'all. I wanted to come in. Y'all, I'm not trying to show y'all nothing. Listen. All right. I wanted to come in. I actually have a YouTube video that I need to record. I have quite a few things on my list. And I just felt called to come in and share this topic on my heart, these conversations. Oh, girl. Oh, girl. Before we go into this, I want you to breathe. I'm going to breathe with you. I should have pinned this. Let's button this. Let's button this. Okay. So I want to, and I know this angle, but I don't feel like getting no tripods. I don't feel like doing nothing. I just wanted to come in and share this. I took my dogs out this morning and, I put my slippers to the side and I went downstairs in the backyard and I said, I want my toes to touch the grass. I want my toes, my feet in the grass. I want to touch it. I want to feel it. And I just started like stretching while they were like pottying. And I started raising my hands to God and just started like stretching. And it was like, I don't know, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., something like that. And I was like, I was listening to the birds chirp. We have a lot of birds in our backyard. And I was like, just in this desire to just feel connected to like earth. Okay. The woman I have become and am becoming. Woo, girl. If you know me, this girl, this Jersey girl raised in the projects of northern New Jersey and just, just a Jersey girl, not an outdoors girl or anything like that. And so to be in this space, in this chapter, in this season where I am doing what I just did, just breathing, it has been new. It is new. And it inspired me to talk about this. I know that you actually don't want to shift the message. For the last 10 years, I have worked every single day with women educators, expert entrepreneurs, service providers, women you love, women who are pouring their expertise and packaging it into various services and their thought leadership into training and coaching and consulting and speaking and services. And there's this professional side of our work, right? There's this expertise, right? This work that we do. But as an entrepreneur, there's this personal journey that we are on. There's this personal journey we're on in life anyway. Let's be clear. And then when we add on to that, all of the things like life and business. I always, like I've said this several times when I'm being interviewed and let me know if y'all can hear me okay, because I just realized I have my phones down. But let me know if you can hear me okay. I've said that I feel like 1 year as an entrepreneur is like 5 years in corporate. Like there are just things that you are forced to learn, to grow in, to develop all the things, right? And so with all of that comes this personal development, expansion, like these internal pivots that are happening already as a human being. But now you add on to that your business, you add on to that yourself personally, professionally, all of the things. So it's like I'm growing out of the ears. And sometimes it feels like I don't want to grow no more, God. Like, can we pause on the growth, please? Can I take a chill pill? Can I just sit here and be? And so in that working with women on refining their messaging, right? Because as that happens, one, on a professional note, as you work with more clients, when you first start in your business, your first 5, 10 women or men clients, companies that you work with, whoever your client is, those first couple of clients, when you're first testing your signature methodology, your core concepts, the philosophies that you teach, you're building them. And as you get the next batch, so that first dozen versus the second dozen versus the third dozen versus the first 100 versus the first 500, like, every couple of client testimonials, experiences, all of these things, like, you are adding new layers to your signature method and your methodologies, right? And so that needs to be reflected in your messaging. Too many times people want to increase their pricing, but you don't elevate your messaging to now reflect why you are commanding that price. And no one said you don't deserve to command that price, but you need to make sure that your positioning is in alignment with that. You need to make sure you're elevating your sales messaging and the language so that when you communicate that, you can command that price. Hey, Deborah, and you can command that rate, and you're elevating your pitch to align it, right? So that's what's happening on the professional side. There's so many things, right? We need to be elevating all that. So that's why we're refining the messaging, because what we're really doing is refining how you position what it is that you do. The way that you positioned it in year 1 is different in year 2 and 3. The way that you positioned it in year 2 and 3 is going to be different than the way that you position it in year 5. The way that you pitch it and present it is going to be different in year 5 through 6 than the way that you did before. So it's going to keep expanding and evolving, right? And we're building onto it. It's layers. Okay. Now that we've said that, here's the truth though. You don't actually want to keep doing it. So something that I hear from clients is like, oh God, Kiera, like, I've worked on my message. I did this before. Oh my God, I got to do this again when they first start. But then they go through my process and they see, wait a minute, Kiera, I have never, when I tell you at this point, 10 years in the game, over 2,000 women that I've supported, every woman that I've ever worked with, even when coaches hire me to come and teach in their programs, right? So that I'm not even coaching them, I'm coaching their people. They've hired me to do that. When they sit back and they see what I'm teaching, even they're like, ooh, okay, I never learned it like this. So I'm always taking concept of messaging. That's why I always say I do next level messaging. We do messaging refinement. We're going deeper. I don't do basic ideal client. We're not going deeper into okay. Let's talk about that in a second. So we're going deeper, right? And so when I'm working with women, I've had women, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years who are like, oh my goodness, no one's ever asked me these questions or guided me to this place about my work and about what I do. So yesterday I had a call with a client who, so she started coaching about 12 years ago. She's had live events and lots of things. And we're going through some personal things in her life. And literally as she's talking about those things, we're seeing them mirrored in her ideal client, like in her next level ideal client. And it's so beautiful. And to see the way that they connect. And so going back to when women first come in, it's kind of this space of like, and if you want to call it objection, you can call it objection, right? You need to know what those are for your people so that you can proactively speak to them. So I want to share this with you right now. If you're in this place where you feel like, oh my gosh, one, I done worked on my messaging. I've done this before. I know who my ideal client is. I've done these things. Okay. And then you feel like, I don't wanna. It's like that little girl, I don't wanna do it. I don't wanna work on the next level message. I don't wanna change the stuff. I built these things in my funnel already. I, have created certain, SOPs and manuals and content and videos and podcast episodes. Here are things that I've done already, Kiera, with this message. Why would I want to shift the message and change it? One, never have I had a client where we throw all of that away. Although they come in saying, Kiera, I want to burn it down, what actually starts to happen, and what I really, really love, especially when I'm doing whether we're doing coaching or whether I'm doing my consulting and done for you work, where I actually take the messaging and I actually start to rewrite things for you. Either way, we start to identify, we don't actually have to burn down things. We start to infuse and optimize. So I start to find, oh, wait, no, we got to tweak this call to action here. Or you know what? We need to shift the hook here. Or we need to like elevate this, here or there, right? So we start to, we start to, change those types of things. But, we don't necessarily have to burn everything away, or throw everything away, right? Burn everything down. And I know that that's a fear, but I want to say this to you, my love. Why are you afraid? Even if that was the case, why are you afraid? Okay? Why are you afraid? You are shouting. You don't want to shift away from the message. But if this was good, so a lot of times it's like, okay, I've been able to get to here. So I started here and now I've been able to get to here, but you want to go here. And on the other side of this is here, but you're so stuck on here. The message that's here, the clients that's here, the offers that got you here, the mindset that got you here, the visibility that got you, all the things that got you here. But there are other things to get you here. And there's some things we got to let go of to get you here. But if you keep holding on to the here, we can't go here. So you really got to check in on, what's my fear? What am I afraid of? If I'm so impressed and in love with where I got, which one is not the case, because there's something in your body, there's something in every fabric of your being that knows that something is off. So what you're really afraid of is what people are going to say. What you're really afraid of is feeling like you wasted your time. What you're really afraid of is the embarrassment that something, or the implication that something didn't work, or that you failed, or something was wrong. But I'm here to ask you, who do you care more about? Do you care more about what other people are saying, or do you care more about where you're going and who you're meant to be and how you're meant to show up, and that next level of your message and your movement, and how you're meant to be serving? Which one do you care more about? In my client call yesterday, in our intensive, one of the things we talked about was her shifting into this next level of her message. And some of the mindset stuff that was coming up on that was feeling like there are people in the old audience who were used to her showing up in a certain way. And I asked, there was something I said, hey, so why aren't we doing this? She's like, I know when I do this, it's going to like 10 times it. Okay, so why aren't we doing that? Why are we like pedaling with these? Why don't we just do that? And she was going through all the reasons of why she felt like she wasn't ready yet. And what she said was something that I asked, but is that concern connected to you today, or the you from before and the clients from before? And she said it was connected to the clients from before. So you're telling me you're holding yourself to a standard based off of the clients and the you from before. It has nothing to do with who you are today and where you're going and what you want and all the work that you've been doing. No, it doesn't, Kiara. And watching that in her mind as she answered that question was beautiful. And we paused so she could take a minute and sit with that. What are you afraid of? You're holding on to old versions of your message, and it's causing you to water down the way that you are positioning and pitching and pouring out your work. You're not putting it out to articulate it, to communicate it, to present it at the power of which it exists, which this week's video actually aligns with what I'm talking about. This week's video, this week's episode is all about thinking bigger about your offers when you build them or when you rebuild your offers. And sometimes we get stuck in people's small budget or small mind around what they want. So if you feel like you're creating offers because it's like, okay, well, this is what my people typically want to pay, or this is what a lot of people in my audience or people that have like reached out to me, this is what I think that they would want to pay for. So like, I'm only going to offer this, instead of you thinking of, no, what's the highest level I know I can serve? Let me create my offer from there. So you can go into that video to dive more into that. I'm challenging you on that because we are being called to think bigger. But it starts with this conversation around you accepting it's okay for me to pivot from parts that no longer align. And it's okay for you to admit, Kiara, I don't want to do it, but I know that I need to do it. And I know that it's good for me. And I know that it won't hurt me. And I can take a baby step. And it's okay for you to get the support for it. Have someone with you by your side that's going to be able to call you out when you're trying to shrink back. That's going to be able to notice the times when you're actually trying to minimize, right, your voice. When you're trying to minimize your value. Because that's what it's doing. It's minimizing your value. So when we talk about, let me just make sure, I'm just checking my calendar. One, I want you to comment, whether you are watching the replay, whether you are live, I want you to share with me what comes up for you on this. And if this feels like, Kiara, you preaching and this is deep, my inbox is open to you. Shoot me a DM on Facebook. At the Kiara Jones. Shoot me a DM on Instagram at the Kiara Jones. Either way, shoot me a DM. That link is somewhere around this video. Okay, so I want to hear what's coming up for you on this. If you want to have a one-on-one call with me, we can spend 30 minutes together. We can talk about what comes up for you on this video, but you know, I don't just want to talk about what's coming up. I absolutely want to hold space for you and dive into anything mindset-wise that's coming up. And we want to do something about it. Because if you don't know, Kiara's approach is a mix of mindset and strategy. We need to talk about mindset stuff, and we also need to get into some action. Right? And so from a strategic standpoint, okay, so now what are you going to be articulating? How are you shifting? So that starts with us auditing, right, and assessing what is your current pitch? What are you talking, like what are you putting out? Let's start looking at some of those strategic points. So in my 30-minute strategy session, I'm able to dive into your pitch with you and really sit down and assess with you how you're articulating what you do, how you talk about what it is that you offer and who you work with, and then start to share with you, okay, here are at least 1 to 3 shifts that I would make and implement strategically to amplify that. So that is something that we can do inside of a 30-minute, 6-figure positioning strategy session. So you can grab that at kiarajones.com/session. If you want to have a conversation where we actually dive into your pitch and your positioning plan and really start to amplify it and build it. But again, so I know that you may feel like you don't want to necessarily pivot into this new season, into this new message, into this new you, but you have to. You have to, because you can't stay here. The reason why it's being planted to you is because it is the invitation that you need for where you need to go and for the next level of what you are meant to be contributing. The next level of what you are here to contribute lies on the decision you make right now. The decision that you make to lean into the next level of the message, of the movement, of the right, of the new season, right? No matter how difficult it is, no matter how many tears, I know that we are in a season where there is so much shifting within women, specifically all people. We are not discrediting that right now. Can you please check my messages? Absolutely. I will check my DMs. And I did mention that because I do know, and I always leave space. Y'all know this. If you followed me for the last decade or less, okay, my inbox is always open. I know that sometimes, Kiara brings up some things that are, a little personal. And, you may not feel like you necessarily want to put it here in the comments. So you can always DM me. I'm happy to chat. And that's also why we have the 30-minute strategy sessions. If you want more than just a quick chat, if you want to, really look at your actual stuff and we share screens and take notes and really start to, map out a plan of here's exactly what I would do to elevate how you're pitching, presenting, packaging, pitching, presenting what it is that you are, putting out. So yes, I will definitely check DMs when I'm done with this. So, what was I going to say? So I started this video out with, I wanted you to breathe. There is nothing that you did wrong. There is nothing that you did wrong. I don't care about the conditions of time that you are placing here. Wondering, did I move too fast? Did I move too slow? I don't care about you questioning your level of enoughness. Was I too much? Was I not enough? I don't care about your level of doubt. If you are super confident or if you were doubtful, Deborah. No, Deborah, it's just that I happen to think that was the first name that came to my mind. Sorry, Deborah. But if you were just being doubtful, up and down, I don't care about any of those conditions. Timing, how enough you were, how confident or doubtful you were. None of those matter. Exactly what you did and how you did it is yours. Own it. The only thing that is causing the issue here is the shame that you're placing on it. You think other people are judging you for it. Because you know what's interesting? One of my clients and I were talking about makeup, like wearing makeup on a video. And we said something around like, oh, people say something if you did wear makeup, and then people say something if you didn't wear makeup. So it's like people are going to say something either way. So people are going to say something if they felt like you did it too fast. People are going to say something if they felt like you did it too slow. People are going to say something if they felt like you were enough for it, or people are going to say something if they felt like you were too much or not enough. Like people are going to have something to say no matter what. What did you do with what information you had, with the mental place you were in, with the wisdom you had in that moment? And what I know for sure is that you now have more wisdom. I don't care what happened, if it went in your favor, if it didn't. Guess what? If it didn't go in your favor, you learned some lessons. You got some nuggets that you're going to bring into the next situation. And if it did go into your favor, you got more nuggets that you're going to bring in. You have more information on what works and what doesn't work, on what you want to do again, on what you don't want to do again. So this energy, this shame that we carry around decisions that we made, around things that we did and all the things, and we literally are paralyzed because, of whatever we think we did wrong or didn't do enough of. And also judgment for things that we feel like we did so right. And then we're like, well, why isn't it working now? Like it can go either way. That's why it's so interesting. It's like both sides of the spectrum. I see clients who judge themselves. So the issue is, where are you judging yourself so much to where you're not allowing yourself to pivot into the next season? And then you're holding hostage this chain of where you're at right now, and you're not allowing yourself to move forward, because then you sit in the current message, the old message. You sit in the current you, the old you. You sit in the current client, the old client. You sit in the things that no longer align. If they still align, great. This is not a question on letting go of things that still align. That is not the question, and you should know that. I don't have to tell you that, okay? But if there is something that feels off, that feels misaligned, and it could be working, but it's like, I know there's a next level. I know it can be more powerful. You got to trust the invitation. You got to at least explore it. And that's what I love about doing my 30-minute sessions, is they literally allow us to just explore. It could be, Kiara, I'm exploring this with you. We're assessing this, and I find that I am on the right track. You've given me a couple things that I can add to what I'm already doing to propel it, and bam. And then there can be, oh my goodness, okay, I see that I do need a little bit more work on this, and this. And if we want to have a conversation about doing deeper work together, we certainly can. But we get to have this time for us at least to explore, to ask the questions, to begin that work together. And you deserve that. instead of you being in your head wondering. So definitely head over to /session. We will make sure we put that link here inside of the comments or whatever. So it's around the video. We will put that link for you all. And then definitely on our YouTube, right, on the channel. So this week, looking at that video about thinking bigger. Hey, how are you? Thinking bigger about your offers, and really sitting with this, because something I said in the video around thinking bigger when you build your offers, or I want to put in rebuild, right, restructuring, is God is calling us bigger. So I mentioned a little bit of this inside of the video, but when you are creating your offers only with a small version of yourself in mind, meaning like maybe you don't see yourself small, but you're looking at your client and you're like, oh, they only can afford this, so let me just include this much in there, even though I know I can give this. Being presented with opportunities that do call you to bring this. Like, here's everything that I can bring. Here, and not because I'm bringing everything in the kitchen sink. No. But here's, like, if I was to serve you at my highest capacity, here's what it is. So for me, my corporate background is I'm at a hybrid between sales enablement, and marketing, communications. Obviously, messaging aligns with that. So really bridging the gap between sales and between marketing. A lot of times marketing historically, in my opinion, in my experience in corporate, as well as in my coaching consulting, marketing will work very like in a silo. Sales will work in a silo. And it was very much like marketing. Here you go, sales, go sell this. And they wouldn't talk. And so in my corporate career, being able to be in the middle between like, okay, marketing, here's what you want sales to go and use. And sales, here's what you actually need to go and to deliver and to use that. Let's make sure we're enabling you with the correct sales assets and collateral and tools that you need to be set up for success. So when you go and sell, you have the right sales language, communication, positioning angles, all of that you need to actually set you up to convert, to sell successfully. And so I loved it. I enjoyed it so much. And going to looking at my coaching and my consulting and seeing all of the work that I've done in my coaching consulting for the past decade, and seeing, obviously I knew that everything I did in corporate. So if I look at the last 20 years, I mean, if I look at my entire life, I see very much, I know I've been coaching since I was 7, but like literally really taking a step back and looking at like, I did that already. I already knew where coaching played a role in many parts of my life. And I already looked at my corporate, but like looking at it even deeper and seeing where like the sales enablement and sales coaching and sales training came into play with the sales messaging work that I did in corporate, and then do in my, in my business. And I'm talking training like teams of 20, 100, 200, 426 individuals. So I'm not talking just like 1 or 2 team members, right? So really looking at these things come together. And so when I'm saying to you, thinking bigger about your offers, and me understanding, yes, I can sit and coach you 1 or 2, the CEO, you individually, or I can sit down with you and with your CMO or with your, salesperson or whatever it is. Yes, the 1 or 2 of you. But I also can sit down with teams of 5 and 10 and 30 and 50 and so much more. And so really exploring, those parts of the work, and knowing that I love being able to shift how women see sales. And I'm very, very passionate about that, and always want that to be a part of my work. But even going deeper into the done for you. So if you don't know, because apparently some of y'all don't know, so definitely DM me. I do actually, I've always done intensives. So if you didn't know that, I've always done that, right? We've done hundreds of intensives where I literally sit down with you, in a matter of hours, we built out your next level sales messaging map. So, what's the scalable sales messaging that you need? What are the sales messaging points that you need to know about your expertise and your offer that should be inside of every piece of content and every asset that you create, all the things, right, that you need to be talking about to connect with your clients, to pre-qualify them, to be positioning your offer, to be selling it more powerfully, all the things. So really building out that sales messaging map, and getting clarity on that next level, high quality premium client and how that connects back to your content and your messaging, right, day to day, inside of your visibility, your marketing, your sales. And so taking it a step further and being able to then take that next level messaging that we extract in the consultation or in the consulting sessions, with my CEO, with my leader, and then transforming that and doing the heavy lifting and literally rewriting existing or also outlining new assets, right? That you have that go into different parts of your sales, your visibility, your marketing ecosystem, your funnels, your automations, live and automated activities and assets, right? Being able to literally, like when I say you copy and you paste it in your PowerPoint, or I'm just working directly in whatever PowerPoint you already have for your webinar. And we've had clients who have made six figures, right? From things that we've rewritten, right? Clients who've been using it over and over for months. I have clients who've been using out different assets for years, right? Who made multiple six figures. So being able to be in this space where we are really building out what I call your done for you scalable sales messaging asset suite. These are a collection of outlined and optimized assets. These are assets, collateral. So from content and copy, so web presentations for webinars or masterclasses, pitches and signature talks, emails for your sequences and your funnels, ad copy, sales page copy, etc. Like literally completely customized for you because you had a sales person, a sales messaging strategist, sit with you to extract the most powerful parts of your offer that sell your offering, your expertise, and your signature method, and get to know your ideal client so deeply. And we take all of that and merge it into, hand you over literally the outlines of multiple assets for your business, and they're evergreen and they get to be placed, right, into different parts of your ecosystem so that they work for you. I like to say, make your messaging your 24/7 sales agent. So anyway, I can keep going, but if you know, like, Kiera, where do I get that at? Like, tell me more about it. The best thing to do is to grab a strategy session with me at 𝐇𝐢𝐠𝐡-𝐕𝐚𝐥𝐮.com/session, because we can sit down and we can start assessing what you have and start auditing and start making a plan. And then, we can get more details on specifically what your project would look like, what assets you currently have, and start mapping everything out together. Hey, Faye. And so, that is the best place. You can always DM me as well if you have like one or two questions, that's a great place as well. So 𝐇𝐢𝐠𝐡.com/session, or you can DM me. But either way, my point is looking at all of the different things the touch points in which my skill set, my areas of expertise have really played. So pitching and sales, right, is the grounding point of it. Pitching, your message goes back to your pitch. Sales and your positioning, it goes back to your pitch. This falls on the power of your pitch. Your mindset falls back on the power of your pitch. So that's always been the center, and helping women in their mindset, their messaging, right? Even their monetization strategies of how they package and how they present and how they position their expertise and their signature method and their high value services so they can pitch more powerfully and position their expertise more powerfully has always been the thing, right? And so just understanding, okay, these are ways in which you offer it. So I just want to say, for you, when you are in a space where you're being invited to pivot. It doesn't mean you have to burn everything away. Duality, right? It gets to be both. I have my inner circle. I've had an inner circle for over 5 years. We've had 100 and maybe 25, 100 and maybe 30 women who've gone through my inner circle. So you can have both, right? So I still do my done with you. If you want to come with me, if you want to do everything that I said, but you would rather have me, be coaching you through it along the way and just get access to the templates and trainings and have coaching throughout the month each week and have access to me and I coach you, through creating these things and you can submit them. And I'm like, hey, I would tweak this, I would tweak that. And it's very hands-on, right? There's an option for you, right? If you want me to do it for you, there's an option for you, right? If you want to start small and we just do a strategy session and I can just map out, hey, here's the top 3 things I would do. Here's the map that I would take. Here's a roadmap. Like, here's the things that I would do. Here you go. You can decide if you want to implement it. And these are tangible, specific, like tailored to you. They're not cookie cutter. I very much in this 30-minute session, like when people, like one, you can go to 𝐇𝐢𝐠𝐡-𝐕𝐚𝐥𝐮 and you can see videos from women and men who've gotten, individuals who've gotten this session, and you can hear about them talking about the value of the session and how it's gold and all that. It's not some like Kiara tricked you into some call that you came into and then it was just like she just gave you some generic. No, but we go in. Okay, we go in. So I am so grateful to offer that. But again, I want to preface this into all of these things come because you answer the invitation. So we started this conversation off with breathe, right? I know that you might feel like, oh, I don't wanna. My love, it's safe. It's beautiful. I've been on my entrepreneur journey for 10 years. I've been full-time. It'll be 9 years in October. Boo-boo. You're going to have to. Because one, you're going to get tired and bored. You're going to get burnt out. And that's going to start affecting your service delivery. That's going to start affecting your household. That's going to start affecting your weight. That's going to start affecting a whole lot of stuff. I know. Because I gained 70 pounds on this entrepreneur journey. Thank God. Thank God we have released about 65 pounds. Thank you. But, there's so much that comes with this. And that's a whole nother video, a whole nother conversation. Who needs to have a conversation about that? We forget to talk about along the way of this entrepreneur journey, all the things that really, really go into it, because it's not just the business, right? It's not just the business and the clients and the finances, right? There's a lot of the mental components that come and are involved in this. And so in 2019, when I was in my point of like, I am burnt out, I want to burn this completely down, I had to change my business model. I no longer wanted to have 8 to 11 one-on-one clients. That was not the model that I wanted anymore. I was going live every single day for 3 years. I was completely burnt out and I had to identify, wait a minute, this is not working for me. So what needs to shift in my offers? And I also had to look at what needed to shift inside of my audience, right? Who really am I wanting to be working with, right? And so that created Realign to Shine, which became a staple in my inner circle coaching and all the work that I do with clients, right? Really focusing on first that alignment piece. And I can't remember if this is the video where I was talking about it earlier. I think so, where I was talking about, just as you are scaling, you want to be careful that you're not bringing misaligned offers, misaligned messaging, misaligned audiences into your world. You will resent it. Even if it's not today, if it's not tomorrow, you will resent it. And your money will start to reflect it. Your body will start to reflect it. Every part of your life will start to reflect it. So you have to get those things in alignment. Like you have to. It can't work without it. So this is so much bigger than us just talking about, oh my God, I don't want to. You have to. You have to. You wouldn't go eat a piece of stale bread. You wouldn't go eat milk or drink milk that said, she's going to kill me for saying this, y'all. As soon as I said the milk, okay, so I'm not going to say who it is. But I know somebody who does not drink milk. They literally use milk for specific recipes like cake, mac and cheese, things like that. So I literally said, well, why don't you buy a pint of milk or like a little carton? I forgot, like not a pint, whatever it is, little pint, little quart, whatever. And I was like, you may have to go to the gas station. The gas station has like the little one. Sometimes the grocery store don't have the little one. They'll have the quart. But I said, I would rather pay $3 for a little pint than buy a gallon. I went to this person's house. Okay. They had, I am not exaggerating, y'all, they had 3 or 4 different milks. And when I'm talking half gallon, I can't remember if there was a gallon, but like a half a gallon, like a carton, and not a quart. It was definitely half gallon. 3 or 4 of them. And I'm a person, you see, I got my this is my protein shake, but I'm a person who I like cream if you can't. Well, it's this is a latte, but I like cream. So I like to put cream in my tea. I put cream in my stuff, okay? So I'm like going through the milks, and thank God I look at the dates. I'm looking at the dates and I'm just like, can't use that one. Can't use that one. Can't use that one. Can't use that one. Like, hey, is there any cream or milk in here that I could use? And that's when she's like, oh no, I just buy them when I make specific recipes. And I'm like, okay, well, why don't you pour them away? When I tell y'all, this is no exaggeration. The milk literally was like a year old. There was milk in there a year old. There was, I'm not going to say anything else. They will kill me. I'm not saying who. I'm not saying nothing. But you would not sit drink that milk. You would not go eat that bread if it had mold on it. You wouldn't do it. So why are you doing that in your business? Now, I like a crunch. Are you team crunchy? What's your texture love language? I'm a crunch girl. Let me know. So when I have a salad, I want my salad crunchy, crisp, right? Who wants a wilted salad? The lettuce is all wilted and the cucumber is wiggling like carrots. No, I don't want that. Why would you do that in your business? And that's another thing, right? So when you're scaling, you're looking at certain funnels that you have. It doesn't matter if it's paid or if it's organic, right? Both. There are elements that need to be updated, right? So even, when I'm doing the done for you scalable sales messaging assessment, well, the assessment in order for us to build out the suite, right? And outline and optimize the suite. We're looking at what you already have and what I can just rewrite and refresh based off the new messaging. And then also what are some gaps? What are some new assets and collateral and things that I can also create for you, like new outlines and stuff and write. And a part of that is like, yes, where are the wilted cucumbers, the wilted, non-crisp lettuce? And so you need to be refreshing those things because you won't drink the outdated milk. You won't eat the stale bread. You won't desire the wilted lettuce. Why would you put stale, outdated, wilted, watered down messaging, sales messaging at that? I am not talking general messaging. I'm talking the messaging for conversions, the messaging to connect with your people. That has evolved. That has to be elevated. That has to be refined. You have evolved. So when we talk about, no, I don't wanna, you got to let it go. You got to let it go because God's calling you higher, one. He got you going through these things because there's a shift in you that is for you because you're going to take it and you're going to use it. And you have been given it because you know what to do with it. You know what to do with it and how to use it and contribute to the world with it. You know how to use it and make it and bring it a part of your story. You know how to use it and bring it onto stages and bring it into your books and bring it into, your visibility. You know how to use it to contribute impact and to contribute to the movement. That's one. Well, that's not one. One is for you. So it's for you. That's a 0. That's we shouldn't even have to say that. So that's one. And as you heal, as you grow through it, right? And you don't have, this is just my belief. There's certain things where it's a full healing. And there's some things where it's like, you know what? There's sprinkles. There's sprinkles that I can be doing through this process. Okay. So, you know what to do to use it for impact. Right. And so we need to be refreshing parts of your brand story. That's why part of what I do is including the signature talk, right? Looking at my client's signature talk, looking at even their bio sheet, all of those things. That's a part of your pitch. All of it is your sales messaging, a part of your pitch. How you pitch yourself for different opportunities, right? Whether it's for podcasts and different shows, brand opportunities. So looking at your pitches and your proposals, looking at your signature talks, looking at your different presentations. whether it's signature talks or, your webinar or your master classes or multi-day events. And sometimes we touch on your curriculum, and then sometimes we touch on your pitch. It could be different elements. It just depends, right? And all of this is customized for each client, right? It just depends on what your go-to visibility marketing strategies are. If you are someone who doesn't have like enrollment events and you mostly just do 1-day events, that's going to be different than a person who has 3 to 5-day events, right? Like there's multiple presentations that we're creating with them versus you. It's just different. And so we have a list of those, and we kind of assess and audit what you currently have, what gaps there are. And then, okay, so what do you want? What am I going to be rewriting? Okay, here are also some gaps I think that would be really helpful inside of your, live and or automated assets and activities that I think will be really helpful in your funnel and your automation and your systems and your pathway in general. You confirm what you want me to rewrite and or new outlines you want me to create. And we kind of go from there, right? And of course, all of that is built on this next level intensive that we're doing with you as a CEO, extracting this next level message. But again, it goes back to it's safe. It's safe, it's safe, it's safe. So I was sharing earlier, breathe, when we started this. And then I started also closing my eyes and sharing, let go of any conditions that you have on timing, on if it's enough, on any embarrassment, on any shame around if you feel like you did something wrong, if you feel like you didn't do enough or you did too much or whatever it is. Exactly where you are right now and exactly what you have been experiencing is needed for the next level of the message and the movement of where you are going. It's needed. It's adding value to the meaning of the work that you are here to put out next. And the longer you sit in this, you are just stretching out the time in which you could have been contributing. You're stretching out, you're prolonging the time in which you could have been impacting. You're stretching out, you're prolonging the time in which you could have been doing and receiving, giving and receiving, receiving and receiving, making money and receiving. We just gonna say receiving and receiving and receiving. And I, really to sit with that part, So there was a couple of resources I shared. One, a video that I did this week on thinking bigger about offers when you're building them and or rebuilding them, right? That was one. There also is another video that I did on your next level voice is safe. So I will make sure that we link these videos in the description and the details around this video. 𝐇𝐢𝐠𝐡-𝐕𝐚𝐥𝐮.com/session. 𝐇𝐢𝐠𝐡-𝐕𝐚𝐥𝐿�E𝐅RAJONES.com/SESSION. That would be the best place to go. If you're like, Kiara, I want to work with you in any capacity, whether it's going to be just this 30-minute session for us to just explore what it is that we're talking about here and share at least 1 to 3 things that can amp up how you're positioning and pitching your expertise and stepping into that next level message, then we will do that in a 30-minute session. If it feels right for us to continue to talk further about, Kiara, I want to go beyond just these 1 to 3 specific strategic things that I can do within my business and my brand and my offers and pitch. I do want to talk about us continuing to work together. We can talk about that. I have an inner circle where we can talk about ongoing coaching and consulting that I do. It's hands-on, high impact coaching. It's a one-on-one and group hybrid space where you get access to my messaging methodologies and frameworks and templates and trainings and ongoing coaching and consulting and all the things, right? It's personalized support on sales, messaging, and your pitches and positioning. And we include mindset support because the mindset be all up and through, right? We were just talking about scaling stories last weekend, the call before that as well, because there's just mindset stuff that comes up when you're scaling. So these are all women who have been in business and who are in that growth space. And then we also have my done for you, where I do it with you or do it for you, right? So we can do our consulting intensive, and then I have to record a whole YouTube video after this. Intensive, and then we also have the done for you element. So either way, don't worry about that. If you just know, Kiara, in this video right here, I want to just talk to you about what's coming up for me from here. And let's at least make a plan, right? With at least 1 to 3 nuggets that I can use right now to implement my pitch. And then we can talk, if it feels right, on what next steps there are. But this 30-minute session is gold. It's an insane investment for you. Like, complete deal of the year. You will hear women and men, right, individuals who've done this session on that page, 𝐇𝐢𝐠𝐡.com/session, so you can see all the details about it. So just grab that, and that will allow us to just talk about you and let me hold space for you, like I know you do for so many others. Like I know you do for so many others. Okay. So that would be an amazing next step for you. So I'll link those 2 videos there. You have the session link, and then there's some free resources. I have a free messaging workbook and also a class on converting high quality clients. So we'll make sure that we put that around this video. I would love to hear from y'all. If you are watching on the replay, make sure you say, hey girl, hey, don't just be watching me. Y'all need to make sure you talk back to me. That's how this thing works, okay? So don't be afraid. I know that there was some DMs, so I'm definitely I saw them come through. I'm gonna check on those because I know sometimes it's like, here, some of this is so personal, I don't want to share. So I will check on those when I'm done with this video. And for those who are booking a strategy session, I cannot wait to have your session and see and experience your breakthroughs and love on you. And I just want to say, amazing job. If you haven't been told today, amazing job. Everything that you have done up until now, you did with the best that you had, the best knowledge, the best energy, the best know-how, the best wisdom, the best experience. Like, you did it with the best that you had. And you get to add to that. And you get to pivot and from that. And that doesn't mean you throw all that away. I don't like throwing stuff away. I don't. Right? Unless we absolutely, it's we need to declutter it because it's in misalignment. Right? But when it's in alignment, we will identify, how does this still fit and merge into what is even deeper, aligned, even deeply aligned to where it is that we're going. So I hope that this was of support to you, this conversation. Definitely let me know in the comments or DM me if that feels just more comforting to you. Or just grab the session so that we can just chat and just dive in and do some real work and share our screens and get to work. Okay. And until next time, love, shine, and success. Make sure that you share this video with a biz bestie, a mastermind sister, and accountability buddy who needs to hear it. All right, y'all. Talk to you soon. Bye, loves. Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining. Thank you. See ya.